Hello everyone, welcome to Globelics International Conference 2023. I am Kiran Kumar Kakarlapudi. I am an assistant professor at Gulati Institute of Finance and Taxation. I am going to talk to you in my capacity as a participant in the Globelics conference and as well as the coordinator of Globelics 2023. First, as a participant or part of Globelics community, I happened to attend Globelics conference for the very first time in 2011 in Argentina. My first impression was uh, I was spellbound by the conference, especially Globelics community, because of its uniqueness in many ways. As a student who has participated in conferences in economics, Globelics came out as a surprise to me because it was a global forum which truly is an interdisciplinary forum for people to come and attend and share their ideas. In the sense, I saw in my first conference, I saw people coming from economics, sociology, science policy, anthropology, and even the pure sciences. So it cuts across different disciplines and studies innovation from different dimensions. And that way, I think innovation systems as a framework facilitated the space for diverse participants to come together and reflect. That was my first impression about Globelics as a scientific community. Secondly, I also found it quite fascinating with how sensitive they are to include participants from different parts of the world. It had participants from almost all continents of the world, and most importantly, Globelics has been a community which is sensitive for gender balance. So these were my first impressions. Subsequently, I attended three of the conferences in different countries, and Globelics as a community kept on increasing by scale and also in the number of participants over the years. That is what I understood as I attended subsequent conferences. Another important aspect that caught my attention was Globelics as a community, although started by Professor Lundwall, who is the founder of Innovation Systems Framework. This community consistently, through its research, contributions, and policy dialogue, helped innovation systems as a framework to grow as a framework that now became one of the most widely used analytical approaches in the innovation studies. That way, Globelics contributed significantly in the making of innovation systems that we see today. That is my experience as a participant in the Globelics conferences. Secondly, coming to my capacity as the coordinator of Globelics, it is an immense opportunity for me to be able to part of this organizing committee and also to take lead in organizing this conference along with Professor Joseph. So the conference, as it was envisaged, the theme was innovation driven knowledge economies and transformation in the global south. This theme was chosen especially after the COVID, when countries were in the process of realigning their policies to handle the unprecedented shocks that they have experienced at the time of COVID. Secondly, Kerala being a state which formulated an explicit policy for knowledge driven development, we thought Kerala, or GIFT in particular, is a place to host the next Globelics conference. So this was a conference, we organized it in hybrid mode. When we started deciding to go about this conference, we had extensive number of meetings with the Globelics Scientific Board, and through the meetings we allocated work. A team of the GSB members started working on review, who is going to review the papers, and a team started working on finding the keynote speakers for the Globelics 2023 conference, and a team started working on looking out for funds and financial support for organizing this conference, and another team started working on the collaborations with YSI, which is a platform that Globelics has been collaborating for hand-holding the PhD scholars to do better research. After the series of meetings, we announced the call for papers, and we received about almost close to 300 papers, of which we selected close to 192 papers. We received papers from close to 60 countries, and the final list of papers selected were represented by 52 countries, and of them 38 country participants joined us in person, while rest of them presented their papers online. Another important aspect of this conference was we approached the Honorable Chief Minister Sri Pinarayi Vijayan to inaugurate this conference, and he graciously accepted our invitation and he inaugurated this conference along with two finance ministers, who was a former finance minister, Professor Isaac, who was the one who actually specifically made a budget with the theme knowledge based economic transformation, and secondly the current finance minister Sri K.N. Balagopal, who also happens to be the chairperson of GIFT. We had a total of 192 papers presented in 10 particular parallel sessions, 4 plenary sessions, and we also requested for special sessions. We received a very good response for our invitation for special response, and finally we selected 10 special sessions as part of this conference. So it was a very enriching experience for me especially to be part of the organizing committee and interact with the well-known scholars in the area. Secondly, I would also like to talk about a particular institute which has helped us immensely in handling this particular conference and also in terms of managing all the foreign scholars arrival in India in a seamless way. I would like to thank the RIS for helping us get the visas, approvals and so on for foreign scholars visiting us. Without their help, it would have been extremely difficult for us to manage all the participants and their visas in a quick time. Then another important aspect of this particular conference, which I did not see in the conferences before, was making use of the global renowned innovation scholars, interact with students in colleges in Kerala. When we proposed this idea in the committee, many of them have graciously accepted. Not only accepting, they have felt that this idea was very interesting in the sense of giving them exposure to what really happens in global innovation scholarship. So we had about 15 scholars going to different colleges in Kerala and talking to students, faculty in their capacity. Coming to the most attractive features of the conference are two. One is the keynote speech and other is by Chris Freeman lecture. The keynote lecture was delivered by Professor Hajun Chang. The Chris Freeman lecture was delivered by Professor Gabriela Detrinet. So this is all about the conference. We are hoping to have a wonderful conference over the next 4 days, along with some cultural events and going out, and also Globelics is not just about academic exchange, it's also a cultural exchange. So we have planned out our events in such a way that the scholars or the visitors will get to know the flavor of Kerala and the culture here. I wish I wish all the best for the rest of the conferences to follow and also for the participants who are going to present their papers here. Thank you once again and have a fruitful time here.